What's up, YouTube? I'm here with the man, Stephan Speaks. Stephan Lavoisier. I still can't get it right. Anyway, I brought you a hoodie because he is the hardest worker in the room. So
thank you, sir. Appreciate you guys.
No problem. So I know you're tired. We'll try to get you out of here as quick as possible. Only gonna be on this live for maybe 10 minutes. He's hungry, and we just had an amazing evening. Standing room only. The place was packed. It was great. So I know everybody wants to get relationship advice from you, obviously, and that I'm not gonna try to defer off of that, go off the course. So I got 5 questions here that were given by the community, Why Waiting Works community. Some of my YouTube subscribers asked some questions. So maybe just like a minute, 2 minutes maximum each question, but these are the questions that they posed that they were looking for answers for. First one was, while waiting on God, a lot of us are dealing with loneliness. What are 3 tips for dealing with that?
3 tips for dealing with loneliness. Tip number 1, focus on a purpose. All right, even if it's not your overall purpose, there can be something that you can identify in your life that needs to be worked on, improved, and put your energy in there. If you have something to focus on, then that at least diminishes those moments where you feel lonely, where you feel horny, because a lot of times horniness is just loneliness, and it's just amplified in that moment. And an idle mind is the devil's playground. So to me, you got to keep it. I don't want to say keep yourself busy in a way that distracts you, but keep yourself focused on the right things. Another thing with avoiding loneliness or battling loneliness is a group of friends and organizations like City Fam. You know what I'm saying? Perfect situation. Because you need like-minded individuals who can encourage you, that you can still fellowship with, and that again helps dissipate the loneliness. Sometimes we get so fixated on romantic relationships, we neglect friendships, we neglect strengthening our family relationships. There's so many other ways to not feel lonely if you address the other relationships in your life. And then I would say the third thing is to start to enjoy your solitude sometimes. Like, you know what, we feel lonely and we want people around, but then start getting those people around and you're gonna want your own time to yourself. It's like, okay, this is too damn much. I need quiet time now. So learn how to enjoy solitude, learn how to relax in that time. And again, just do things that you enjoy. I think just in general, have fun with life, whatever that is. Pick up a hobby, exercise, all these things can help. Nothing will ever 100% cure loneliness. We will all have moments of loneliness. But when you start adding these things to your life, it will decrease it significantly.
That's awesome. Thank you. Okay, why do men not seek advice or coaching as much as women?
So here's what I'm learning. Again, you know, as men, our natural energy is being masculine, all right? And masculinity loves a challenge, loves to figure things out, loves to conquer things, which is why we don't ask for directions. We want to say, no, we got this. We can figure this out. We thrive off of that. Whereas women don't mind being led. At the core of women, even if you're uncomfortable with the word submission right now, even if you're uncomfortable with the idea of a man leading you, there is an innate desire for a woman to have that kind of leadership in her life, whether it is through her father, whether it's through her significant other. So her desire to gain guidance and leadership is so much easier. Not to mention that to gain advice, you have to be vulnerable, number one, and you have to submit to that person. And I would argue that men struggle with submission, even in the sense of going to God. It's harder for us to do that, but for women, again, because there's an innate thing built into women with seeking leadership and submission, that they can embrace it a lot more. And then the last thing I would say is because simply women have a stronger or earlier desire for committed, stable relationship. And so because that desire is stronger and it happens earlier in their lives, they're more willing to seek advice for it. Whereas men, it takes them a little bit more time, and by the time they get there, their pride gets in the way. But they still want it, because the men won't say out loud they want it, but they'll DM me, they'll send me emails, they'll come to these events, and that's when you start to see that they want it just as much as women to a certain extent, but there is a level of pride that comes into their struggle to go after it.
Right, that's great, thank you. Okay, is it possible to have your standards too high? That was a question that one of the girls in the community asked.
So I always tell people, you may not have to lower your standards, but you gotta raise your qualifications. So I don't want to ever tell someone their standards too high, except I will say this, it depends on what the standard is based on. If you're basing your standards on things that aren't really important to the health of a relationship, then they're too high. So for example, if a woman says he needs to make 6 figures, now I would ask the woman this, let's say you're a woman and you're already making 6 figures. What does his 6 figures really do to the change of your lifestyle and to your relationship? You don't need him to make 6 figures, you want him to make 6 figures. That's a standard that you can argue is too high. There's nothing wrong with your desire for it, but if you're gonna box yourself into that, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
I would rather that woman or man, whoever has the standard, to focus on connection.
Yeah.
And as long as your standards are about honesty, transparency, things that actually contribute to the health of the relationship and to truly you being happy, then it's not too high. But going back to my earlier point, you may have to raise your qualifications. You're shooting for a 6-figure job, but you got a Walmart resume. No offense to anyone who works at Walmart. I'm just saying you can't have you can't lack the qualifications necessary to receive that, but still be aiming for it. If you want it, okay, then step your game up.
Yeah.
Work on those things first.
This girl in particular, I know her. She's a Christian girl, and she's looking for a man that's waiting, not willing to wait. Because she said, I want a man that's waiting because she wants to be led in that department. And I was like, that's tough. Because other men, I mean, first off, just to even find a man willing to wait is hard. But now she wants a man waiting
Already.
So she wants that spiritual leader, and she's like, is it possible my standards are too high and I'm going to end up alone? But
well, let me say this real quick. What she has to understand is she could meet a man today who hasn't been waiting, but experiences a connection with her, is inspired by her, and now is at least willing to try.
Yeah.
And his inability or his struggle in that area does not mean he can't lead her spiritually. Women tend to define a man's whole spirituality sometimes by the fact that they're still having sex. So that means, oh, you're not a real Christian, or you're not a real this. But I would argue as a woman, there's certain things you aren't doing that's not in alignment with what God wants you to do. Does that mean you're not a real Christian?
Right,
Does that mean you don't have true faith? No. We all have struggles.
Yeah.
So we have to look beyond that and see, okay, where are his strengths? There are things that we can improve together, but ultimately, is this the person God wants you to be with?
Yeah.
And is there a connection there?
That's great. Okay, 4th question. Can you have love without marriage? So basically, the reason I'm asking that question is someone asked, I'm not sure I want to be married, but I do want to have a partner. So they're asking, is it possible, I guess, to get that? And what's your thoughts on that?
It's possible to. So here's the thing. I would argue that if it's true love, you would not fight getting married.
Yeah.
So the answer would be no. You can have love in a general sense, but how real is it? I've never met a couple who was so madly in love with each other but said, nah, let's not get married.
Right.
Nah, marriage isn't worth it. Nobody views it that way. When you're so into them, you are willing to sign that paper, you're willing to do whatever it takes to lock them down. So it's not, if you can pull that off, it's not real love.
That's awesome. Great. Last question. How and when, I get asked this frequently, how and when do I tell a man or woman that I'm waiting? So, like, when do they tell him, and then how do they tell him?
When is when the conversation comes up, or when the person makes a sexual advance, or any kind of intimate advance. Because some people want to just make an announcement from the very beginning. Hey, by the way, that's not necessary. When it naturally comes in the flow of conversation, or they make an attempt, now how you tell them, just be honest. But I think the biggest mistake, and this is mainly for women, they say it, but they're expecting him to reject it.
Yeah.
And they're projecting this negativity and this negative outcome. It's almost like they're putting their walls up as they're saying it.
Right.
So his inability to receive it is because you're not even owning it and confident in what you're doing.
Yeah.
You have to really feel like, hey, you know what? I have great value. So yes, I'm waiting, and I know I'm worth the wait. But it's always not what you say, how you say it. So your energy has to be right, and when you do it the right way, I had a woman who complained whenever she told men she was waiting, they ran away. And I told her, no, it's not that, it's your energy, it's the way you're coming across. Once she changed that, I promised you, they stopped running. They all did. It's not that they all said, okay, I'll be abstinent too. but some of them were saying, okay, I'm willing to try.
Right.
Or they were at least willing to dig deeper before they stepped away from it. So it did change the trajectory of her situations, and it started to provide better results. And some dudes actually were willing to wait for her.
That's awesome. I love it. Okay, Love After Heartbreak, that's a new book.
Yes, Love After Heartbreak. You can get it at loveafterheartbreak.com. It's all about healing not just from romantic relationships, but from all hurt and pain you experience in your life.
And he's also on tour. He'll be in Houston, Dallas, New York City,
Boston, Baltimore.
all over. Check him out, stefanspeaks.com.
Yes, StephanSpeaks.com.
All right, awesome. Thanks for your time. And then hopefully, can we get you to get back for the Stop Dreaming, Start Creating retreat?
We can talk about that.
All right, that's it, guys. Appreciate you coming on. I know you're tired. Thank you.
No problem, man.
All right,
Thanks.
awesome.